this here says Enrique will work and Chelsea, not Spurs, and Nagelsmann will work at Spurs and not Chelsea. I mean, Chelsea are in just as bad a situation. They weren't just beaten by Brighton at the weekend. They were destroyed at home, 27 shots to 7 or something like this. Battered and 2-1 flattered Chelsea massively. And now it's turned out that Todd Boehly is giving team talks. They're giving the team talks. They sacked a world-class manager for Potter. Cost £100 million to get him in and out. They've bought players that meant that they've spent £600 million on players that match no ideology of how they want to play. We know that because they haven't decided on who they want to now take over. They brought back the most unsuccessful manager in their club's history and the worst available manager in England. I keep saying it. Alan Kirbishley, Big Sam, Ian Holloway are all better. And now Todd B, this man is literally giving team talk.
You remember Jamie Carragher and Phil and Gary Neville when they talked about the American owners? There is a difference between an American investor and owner and an owner of an NFL team. They are used, and I said it. I think I said it on the Terrace before. The American owners, guys, are used to them lifting the NBA trophy, the NFL trophy, the MLB trophy. They are used to be the face of the club. In England, it's not. The owners are behind the scenes. They're working. Yes, they talk. In America, they are used to be in the front row all the time. And I think Todd Boehly saw that I'm going to change Chelsea. I'm going to be the guy always in the news. And he's doing it. We are here on the Terrace talking about Todd Boehly. We're not talking about Chelsea. We're talking about Todd Boehly. So he is actually doing his plan. His plan is to come and change the way English football work. The owners are the face of the club. He's doing it. It's actually happening now.
I actually rate Todd Boehly for doing this because he's sick and tired of all of the managers. And there's someone on TalkSport that said, if Lampard can get the best out of these players, who can? I'm thinking Frank Lampard. This guy, yeah, he's right. He's one of the worst managers. And Todd Boehly, he's probably seen it now. Probably seen like this guy can't do nothing. I have to step up. I have to let these guys know that this is a make or break game. Because they've got nothing to play for. Why are they in the lead? They're like
this is the same owner that sat there with Thomas Tuchel pre-season and went play a 4-4-3. This is the man who wanted Thomas Tuchel to play a formation without a goalkeeper. Like, what are we doing here? Why is he going? What's he going to say to these players that they don't respect his appointment? Why would they respect him if he's in if anything, it's overbearing? And the thing that sums it up, the man asked James Corden for his opinion on who should be manager. And took his opinion to heart and used that recommendation. What is going on here? Chelsea, they were loved under Abramovich. Loved that club. Abramovich cared for that club. Abramovich wanted the best for that club. Todd Boehly just treats it as his plaything. He's in Twitter spaces. He's buying whatever players he wants. He's got no plan. It's there. Isn't it? He can use it. He can go sit at Stamford Bridge and watch it. They are 11th. They are going to finish 14th, 15th. Because they're running. They aren't winning many of those. I'll tell you right now, they're not winning many of those in the run-ins. They are done for. And when you go back to that Enrique news, Tottenham after Enrique, and Chelsea want Nagelsmann, that's the wrong way around. Nagelsmann should be going to Tottenham. Enrique should be going to Chelsea. That's where you will see it. The managerial things lining up. Enrique gets to spend loads of money. Nagelsmann will get to work on a project. If Chelsea end up picking up Nagelsmann, it's just not going to align. Nagelsmann likes to work with these players, likes to develop them. Which manager? Every manager would like 300 million, but is it going to be the best to get Nagelsmann flowing? Is he going to be able to create the same rapport with players and everything? That's what has to be considered when you're getting these managers in. And I don't think Todd Boehly's got it. I don't think he's got it in him because his last appointment was Graham Potter because the football hipsters of the world said Graham Potter's a good manager and he had a Brighton team in 10th, which they lost him. They got a new manager in and he's done better than Graham Potter. So what are we doing here? Are we just going to live with the Zerbi at Chelsea?
I want to ask you guys a question on this. Because I feel like if there was an extra 5 games remaining this season, I think Chelsea would get relegated. And
Yeah,
and
Terry,
people,
yeah, you're not
don't-
trolling. I know.
people
Yeah.
laugh. I genuinely mean that they've got just enough points for no one else to catch them. But I know like Nottingham Forest right now, and some of the other teams down the bottom are winless in 5, and all the teams are kind of just out of the relegation zone have all won 2 or 3 of their last 5 games. But I wouldn't be surprised if a number of the teams currently in the bottom 3, 4, 5 places go on a couple of game winning streaks. But I just don't know where Chelsea's next win comes from. So I don't think they'll go down this year. But my question is more, if they get this managerial appointment wrong, let's say Luis Enrique goes to Tottenham. Let's say Nagelsmann says, you know what? You lot aren't doing my team talks and telling me who I've got to pick. Let's just say a lot of the rumors are true, that they've got too much influence and they're running the show. Could Chelsea get relegated?
I don't see that happening. I do think that they've got far too many great, like not great, but good players for that to ever happen. But it is a good point, because I feel like, for me, Bowley's he's the cause of all these problems that are going wrong with Chelsea. I feel like you said, they don't take him serious. They're paying him, he's paying them how much money? They've got too many players to fit inside the dressing room. No matter what manager comes in, they're still going to have a lot of these issues. I don't feel like any manager can come in and just fix Chelsea like a lot of them think, because they've got a good set of players. They just got many problems. They're even hearing about FFP and stuff. Like, Chelsea aren't in a good position this season, or even going into next season. And like Tom said, I feel like they need a manager who's got a lot of character, someone that's going to come in and not listen to Todd Bowley, and someone that's going to tell him and put him in his place. Someone like Jose, maybe even Ancelotti or Enrique, someone that's got a lot about them, so they're going to be given the team tools. And if Bowley tries to tell them something about the team, they're just not going to have it, because right now there's really nothing for Chelsea to look forward
Do you
to.
reckon Todd Bowley does that though? Because that's why he got rid of Tuchel, because Tuchel wasn't playing ball with what Todd Bowley wanted. Todd Bowley wanted him to have more say over the transfers. Tuchel said no, we got rid of him. And Thomas Tuchel is the reason Chelsea aren't in a relegation battle, because there's 10 points at the start of the season.
But that's the thing. I feel like he's gonna have to know that when this manager comes in, any big manager, like you know, the likes of Conte, Mourinho, that they will come in and they will say, if you want me to win, you win my way. And Todd Bowley's gonna have to give that up, because the way that he's doing it right now clearly isn't working for him. And he's gonna have to realize that sooner or later, because Chelsea are only gonna get worse and worse. And they're still really on road to 40 points.
Do you know what? I lied earlier when I said that if ever a club needed to get to a summer, it's Tottenham. I lied. It's Chelsea, then it's Tottenham, right? Look, I've got a slightly different take on it. I think that, look, Todd Bowley's done a lot wrong and is bedding in, but the same way that players and managers have to bed in. Look, this is, a new owner coming over. I said this at the beginning of the season. Chelsea, I didn't predict Chelsea would drop off this dramatically, but new owners, new manager, new technical director of football, 14 new players, new medical team, new scouts. I just think doing all of that, it's almost like doing an entire rebuild in a year. And it's just way too much. I think you're getting a powerful manager. Like George said, a manager that will go, no. I choose the players. I give the team talks. You bring in a powerful manager. You get out your Pulisic's, your Ziyech's, some of the older guard. You whittle that squad down. They won't be in Europe, so they'll whittle that squad down and they'll play once a week. You've got Nkunku to come in. Some of the players that have come in this year will have had time to settle over the summer with a new manager. I think it's a real fine balance. I'm not saying they're going to be flying next year, but it could work for them depending on that managerial appointment. But I'm not going to sit here and write them off yet, because Chelsea, I don't know, they're just that club. Do you know what I mean? They've got a lot of good players, plus Nkunku to come in. We'll see, but it's a bit. Listen, one thing I do know: this is a massive summer for them.
Yeah, but let me add something. I think the rumors surfacing about Luis Enrique with Tottenham is that because I think what happened is Luis Enrique, he had a meeting with Chelsea, and I think he had demands, and there is nothing announced yet. That means they didn't agree on anything, and he wanted long-term commitment. He wanted to have the upper hand in the transfer market, and I think they didn't agree on anything, and that's why now we're hearing these rumors about Spurs with Luis Enrique. Because if he had agreed everything with Chelsea, we would not have heard this rumor. I think it's a big problem at Chelsea. I think the right manager for them, this is my strange shout, is Antonio Conte at this moment for a year contract or a 2-year contract. I know you guys don't like the squad is built for 3-5-2. The squad, they will have Lukaku back. I know Spurs fan won't agree with me, But when they had
Chelsea
a problem,
fans won't agree with you.
Yeah,
Every
they
Chelsea
won't.
fan I
No,
know was going,
100%.
Conte.
Probably
Like-
yes, because they don't. But to be honest, when they had a problem with the club with Jose Mourinho in 2014, 15, 16, they had Antonio Conte. It's a short-term thing, and the club already had a lot of players. He will work with some of them, and it just get fixed now because the club needs the winning mentality back. Listen, Chelsea over the last 20 years have been the most successful club in England with one model, which is up and down, hire and fire, and get the wins no matter what. So I know that the long-term plan and all the stuff that is talking now, because everybody wants that long-term plan and the consistency and stuff. It didn't work for them. They never had that. So why did you want to move away?
You know what, though? I disagree. If they were after a manager to come in for a short term and to steady the ship and get, a good feeling back in Chelsea, it's Mourinho. I'm sorry. I understand your point on Conte, but Jose Mourinho is actually liked by Chelsea fans. And I think that's a part that you have to take into consideration. A lot of Chelsea fans are feeling disillusioned by the club doing it. They have no idea what the structure is. They have no idea what the plan is. Mourinho can get everyone together. And it doesn't have to be a project where you back Mourinho in a sense, because he's going to get that anyway. Todd Bowley's going to want to spend his money. Mourinho just has to come in, win some football matches, get the fans back on side, and get a Chelsea feeling back into it. They've tried. I can almost imagine that's what they thought Frank Lampard would do, but Frank Lampard's crap at his job, so he can't do that. Whereas
do you think he's going to drop? Do you think he's going to drop down a standard, Tom? I mean, at the moment, Roma are sitting comfortably in a Champions League position.
Hey, Todd Bowley's got money.
The Europa League, right?
Todd Bowley's got some money to spend. Todd Bowley's got money to spend. I'm sure he can convince me.
He's in a big contract already. He's on a big contract with Roma already. Very, very big contract. So he's already that money thing. I don't think they can pull Mourinho out. But I agree with you, Tom. If you're gonna say exactly why I say Conte, they need someone to come in, just win some games, win the fans back, and get that winning mentality again. If it's Mourinho. But I think that long-term plan with this owner, it needs a lot of work, and I don't see it happening, to be honest.
Ancelotti, Mo? What about Ancelotti?
I think it's perfect.
It would work as well. Great shout as well. But that's what I mean. The way Chelsea want to switch the club to like this long-term plan. Dude, you've been 20 years successful with one model. Just changing it now. And you tried, Graham Potter. It didn't work. It just didn't work.
Do you know the thing for me? When they first took over, look, we all get predictions right. We all get predictions wrong. I didn't think they would do all the things they're doing now, because of the fact that straight away we knew that Todd was running things, but what they told the media straight away was, we're going to bring in sporting directors, footballing directors, football people to run things. But the decisions they're making do not sound like they're being made by seasoned professionals. How do I know this? The Glazers run my football club. They owned our football club before Fergie retired, but they started running our football club after he retired. And there's certain similarities that I see in terms of weird decisions. Bringing Lampard back is an example of that. A weird populist decision, thinking that the fans would just jump for joy, but they don't really understand football. Equally, I saw someone in the comments section a few moments ago say they won't do a Conte because the papers have said they're going to take their time on this. But the paper said after every defeat that Potter wasn't going to be sacked and he would definitely be given pre-season. He's not there anymore, is he? Chelsea's owners have told the media 100 times what they're doing. They're going to do the right thing. But so far, we haven't seen any of the right things happen. Barring
Terry, can I ask you something?
Go on.
With Conte, I don't know how you feel as a Spurs fan seeing him at the back end of his tenure with us. I feel like this guy is about to have a year out of football completely. He looked a shell of a man. He didn't look well. Lots of rumours that he wants a year away after obviously he's had 2 or 3 close friends pass away this year, being ill. I feel like he's going to go back to Inter Milan the year that, because they're building a new stadium right over at Inter and AC. I feel that he'll go back there just in time.
Look at Mo's face.
Just in time for I just don't feel that. Can you imagine the stress he's just had at Spurs?
No, I hear you.
Now going to Chelsea.
It may not be him, but who knows? Maybe they offer him an obscene amount of money to do a year. But this is what I mean by could he relegate? Could Todd Bowley relegate them? On paper, you'd say not with the quality of player and with Conte. But let's just say they offer him an obscene amount of money and he goes back on his decision to take a year out and he manages them, but halfway through just has a breakdown because mentally he isn't where he wants to be. You'll be back where you are again. Now, as an example, the point I was just trying to make is that every time Chelsea say, this is what we're doing, we're building this, we're building that, we're making long-term this, long-term that, the end result looks completely different to what they're telling the media. They also, in the summer, by the way, and of course, fans always attack the journalists and not their own club, thought they had deals done for players like Jules Koundé, briefed the press and said, we've started our onboarding process. He's ours. The press released those in, and then he goes to Barca. And I spoke to these journalists, and I'm like, why did you guys get caught out? Because obviously I then do reaction videos to what the journalists say. I'm like, yo, what happened? They're like, the club literally told us it was done when it wasn't. So they've made so many of these errors where they say the wrong thing. Imagine a week before Potter gets sacked, you release a press statement and you make journalists say, even if he loses into the rest of the season, he's staying. And then a week later, he gets sacked. The journalists get abused. Fans are confused about what's going on. If I was a Chelsea fan right now, I would not be suckling on the PRT at that football club. I would be pushing back on everything, demanding answers, demanding a long-term plan, and I wouldn't be listening to any of their bullshit. What is it? The boy that cried wolf? That's all I can think of. The boy that cried wolf. You keep promising something and failing to deliver. So what? I know fans want to protect their club, and I know Chelsea fans, want to sort of promote the best view of their club possible in any given situation. But sometimes you've got to wake up and smell the coffee, and that they could get this next managerial appointment bang on, and everything they're saying now could be true. But why not scrutinize it just in case it isn't true, rather than bury your head in the sand and it isn't, and you come out looking bad again? Like, you're much better off being harsh on a team doing the right things than too easy on a club doing the wrong things. And that's what I understand. People think they're always protecting their club, but Man United fans have protected the Glazers for 17 years by not doing the right thing in calling them out. They haven't done enough. Spurs fans, 10 men at a protest. Oh, we hate you, but can we have some Formula One tickets, please, for the go-karting? That's the way it works. And I don't mean that as a dig, but that's what fans do. We almost like we hate it, but I've got to go, though, haven't I? No, you don't. And I'm just saying to Chelsea fans, be very careful when believing what they and the journalists tell you, because so far, it ain't matching up for me. So far, it doesn't. You know, when, I don't know, your friend tells you a story about why they didn't come out on Saturday night, or why they haven't got that money that they lent you, and you're listening to the story and you're just thinking, what the fuck is this? You just know they're bullshitting. There's something about this Chelsea situation that smells off to me, because it just does. Bringing Lampard back should be a massive indicator that right now they have absolutely either no idea what they're doing, or the football people are not being listened to, and Todd Bowley and the bankers are like, we'll do it our way. I've watched 2 seasons of Ted Lasso. He didn't understand football, and they won an FA Cup.
Ted Lasso.
Like, Ted Lasso's brilliant, by the way, but it wouldn't work in real life. And I'm not even digging Chelsea out. I'm not even trying to be horrible, but they've got big problems at that football club. They just have, and we all got suckered in by what they were saying. I thought, they're saying this. The journalists, listen, there's some really respectable journalists that have not, every article they write when they're briefed by Chelsea, they just write it as gospel. And they're like, no, if I thought it wasn't true, I'd question it. But nothing they've told you so far has been true, and you're still not questioning it. Mad to me. Chelsea fans, stand up. I was going to say weaponize this. Don't weaponize anything. That sounds dangerous. But stand up and push back against this, because they're ruining the heritage that you built over the last 20 years. And listen, there's been many a giant in English football history. Just go and ask Everton fans. Go and ask Nottingham Forest fans. Go and ask what happened. Those clubs were gigantic once upon a time. And then bad owners got involved and ruined them. So be very, very careful, because it can happen, billionaires or not. It genuinely.
You know what, though?